Oh, yeah! Happy Comic Book Day and welcome back, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is US Comics Cast, HQ for all things comic book connected. We are John and Charlie Rivera, the co-founders of USComics. Charlie, happy Comic Book Day.
And happy Comic Book Day to you and to everyone listening and watching today.
I don't know.
As always, we are brought to you by
I'm not
Bad
sure
Mary
if you're talking,
Band.
Charlie, because I cannot hear you, my friend.
You can't?
Off
Can you hear
to
me
an
now?
auspicious beginning on this side.
Can you hear me now?
Just
What about
keep
our
running.
secret? What about our secret guest? Can anybody hear me? Joker Stream, can you hear me? Oh, everyone can hear me. John, I think your headphones may have died. Happy Comic Book Day. Happy Comic Day to you and to everyone listening and watching today. As always, we are brought to you by Bad Mary Band and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please smash that like and or follow button and hit that comment section like an after-season white sale at Bergdorf Goodman, baby. Looks like we are having some technical difficulties. Cousin Paul in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we would never leave you without glorious, glorious podcast action. So, without further ado, and without me being fully prepared to do so, let me introduce you to 2/3 of the greatest podcast team in all the multiverse. Oh, John's back. Let me bring back John first. Can you hear me now, John? Uh-oh, John's going to work on those technical difficulties. Let's welcome to the show, live from Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, the crew behind live from the Secret Stash. We got Mike and Christian. Boys, you are here, and you're so magnetic. You're so powerful. Your super podcasting powers precede you so much, it has exploded my brother's eardrums.
You know,
Oh my God.
I don't talk for like a solid 15 to 20 minutes, and all of a sudden, Charlie takes over the fucking show. You see what happens? Oh, shit, it's Mike and Christian. What is up, boys?
What's going up, folks? Holy
going
shit.
on? Oh my
There's
God.
absolutely no way we can live up to that introduction.
Absolutely not.
Holy shit, we are fucked. I'm telling you, Christian.
I'm
My
going
intro
to,
ain't shit compared to
I'm
what that
gonna
is.
take your guys' word for it because I didn't hear shit. I'm very
my
much looking
God.
forward to this replay.
If I ever go on a tour, Charlie, I'm taking you out on the road with me, man.
Yeah,
you
you're-
are the fucking MC for sure.
You are
Charlie
my-
needs to wear a giant oversized clock around his chest, just like fucking Flavor Flav. Charlie knows what he's doing.
Done.
It's
Put
true.
it on the rider. We got you.
Yeah.
It's true. Last time I saw Mike in person, it was at Smod Castle Cinemas, where I got to hang out with Christian, and this unholy podcast union was formed. However, my big takeaway from seeing Batman 89 at Smod Castle Cinemas was that sometimes Kev gets busy, and when that happens, he calls Mike. I imagine if Mike got busy, he'd call Christian, and if Christian get busy, now he knows to call Charlie. So slowly but surely, I'm going to wind up working at the stash, become Mike's best friend, and boot out Christian. That's my evil plan. Christian,
People-
I'll leave you with my
I'd
brother.
like to see
Do
you
not do
try.
video resumes, Charlie. Even Putin knows you gotta secretly attack. You can't do it live
You're just
on
telling me
screen.
your whole plan.
I want to see you fight
Unbelievable.
for my love, though. That
Fucking
actually,
hell.
I can get behind that.
Charlie
Flowers
is
in the mail.
basically comic book Cobra Commander. Just lays out his entire plan of attack. And
Without
then
the sibilant S's.
Yeah,
Well, I had
Usually
to work
about
on the lisp.
the 30-minute mark, those tend to slide in. So Charlie, I'm gonna go ahead and assume your introduction was dope as usual. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have this, the greatest, now the number one of all comic book related, connected crossover events. But I definitely think we need to start this off the right way. This is indeed that crossover event people will be talking about for years to come. But we're not the first. Those crossover events have been happening and happening. I know when I was talking to Charlie as potential topics, my mind just instantly went to that like famous Superman just soaring through the air while little old Spider-Man Peter Parker's like, oh my God, what in the world can this be? Spider-Man and Superman sharing the page for the first time ever. Mike, you can fact check us all the time. That's got to be mid-70s, I'm figuring.
I was 1976, if I'm not mistaken.
Woo! That's a good vintage.
This is also why I love doing the comics college bit on the show. It's so, your encyclopedic knowledge of these books is so amazing. Like, everything that you've recommended me has just been gold. And
Well, hell yeah, I'm giving you the best.
Well, that's true.
I'm
but
keeping you away from the shit. And believe me, and as Charlie and John
They'll tell me there's some shit
out there.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
some nasty.
What do I always joke with you? By Odin's Fade?
Oh my
Does it
God!
have that?
Well, I will steer you away from that, knowingly. If you know, when we did the top 5 tonight, I didn't completely fact check all my comments. There might have been an Odin's Fade in there. I don't know.
I don't know if you guys get this same feeling, but the best part about these shows going live, we happen to be live right now, YouTube, Twitch, and on Facebook, is being fact-checked. So we encourage anybody, make us feel foolish with our opinions. Comment section is live. We got people throwing out compliments already left and right. But Mike, I'm going to kick it to you or second, technically. Being surrounded by all these memories of comic crossovers in the past, what was your first one that stuck out where you went, oh, it's not just a gimmick, or maybe you did was like, this is the best gimmick ever. What was the first big crossover that like registers in your mind? You think comic book crossover, what is it? Is it Muhammad Ali knocking out our boy? Is it two dark characters being dark together? What's the first one that hops into your skull?
The very first one, it was Superman versus Spider-Man. And we got to see Superman actually, get hit with a red, what the fuck was that thing? Pardon my French, but it was
no, let it rip.
Lex Luthor hit him with like a red sun ray, and Spider-Man just hauls off and belts him, and he's like, "Wow!" Superman's like, "Great Krypton, I felt that," and it's like, "Of course you felt that, motherfucker! You got hit with Lex Luthor's red sun ray.
Felt it.
Yeah,
that's like
when can kick your ass if everything being equal, and you had that red sun ray. Actually, let's make it an orange sun. So Superman's power's cut in half, and Spider-Man the chance.
I do.
He's just up there trying to take pictures for the boss. He's like, God, I gotta get paid this week. Come on, man.
Just trying to get to work.
Meanwhile, Clark's like, I'm Superman, and Clark's kind of it's sort of my practical joke on humanity because I'm such a complete tool. And it's like, yeah, exactly. Ha ha, morons. And Peter Parker's like, fuck, I don't have anything to eat. I am really fucking hungry.
I can't
Not
make
only
rent this
that,
week.
Superman taking a dump on like what a normal person would be like is what Peter would aspire to be. Be like, you mean 6'4", you son of a bitch? You ab-having reporter that's well respected and has multiple Pulitzers? I take photos for a guy who hates my alter ego.
And me.
I, despite having just turned 38 yesterday, I'm
Happy
out of
birthday.
the easy. Thank you. I'm out of the easy Kevin Smith joke club officially with being 38. I'm still what I like to consider young. We know it's an illusion, but let me have this. So my first big crossover moment didn't happen until 94, when Mr. Brooding himself, Bruce Wayne, looked across the gargoyle to the other side, and he saw Spawn with a 10 times longer cape and way worse skin, because we all know Bruce likes to moisturize. Not only did that blow my mind, from my recollection, in those crossover issues, Spawn caught a batarang rather, to the face, and that scar lasted for like 100 issues. So not only was that crossover ludicrously glorious, it had ramifications in the visual of Spawn in my mind forever.
That is so cool.
those crossovers, for me, the best part about them was they allowed you insight into a character that maybe you didn't care about. When Image launched, the only character that was able to keep my attention, because I was so pot committed, was Superman. So I hadn't given a shit about Batman since Adam West was on TV. But then he rolls with Spawn? Now you're in the cool kid club again. Welcome to the family, pal. Welcome to the party. It just it was amazing.
Let me ask you this though, Charlie. Considering the handsome son of a bitch that even introduced you, as with most things, like Kevin Smith, if I'm patting myself on the back, who was it that introduced you to the world of Image Comics? Something different that wasn't on Saturday morning cartoons. Just say it once out loud, because I think we all kind of know.
It was my older brother who had incredible taste.
That's
awesome.
right.
Can we go back to the Spider-Man Superman thing for 1 second? Let's talk about that for 1 second. Now, Peter Parker was handed a shit sandwich when that spider bit him. I mean, Stan was not terribly kind to him. No, absolutely not. And Superman is like, tra-la-la-la-la, my life is perfect. And, you know, he's
like infuriatingly perfect.
Yeah, and he's, wow, Lex Luthor hit me with some kryptonite. Or Mr. Mix's Pitlick came out here and he doinked me with some magic, which I am vulnerable to. And
people, you need to clip that audio because you've been fighting over the pronunciation forever. Mr. Mike just
Pitlick
gave it to you.
Mix's
first TikTok.
Boys.
Here's I take a little bit of umbrage with this because I am an ardent Spider-Man disliker. I won't go as far as hate.
This kid is hateful. There's
I
no
hate his
reason
guts a
for
little
it.
bit.
Hasn't he suffered enough?
Here's the thing. A little bit.
Unbelievable.
He's kind of just a bully, right? He takes out all of his, like, I'm a dweeb angst on, like, Doc Ock, you fat bastard. His jokes are terrible. Superman's goddamn planet exploded. He just was able to brush it off because he kept seeing girls with LL for initials and had business to take care of. That's not Supes' fault.
Hold on 1 second.
Well adjusted.
No, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. He is way too young to have remembered. You know,
when he left Krypton, he was an infant.
It's not like he was 30 years old.
Oh, so trauma. Trauma only counts when you're out of diapers.
Hurt people, man.
You're not being sent to some place where people are going to drop down on their knees and kiss your ass, for being Superman. And you're like, he didn't earn those powers.
So many people kiss Superman's ass, he has to wear a second set of underpants over his long blues.
You got it right, John.
I don't see. Here's the thing, right? Spider-Man and his alleged shit sandwich. I don't think when you're rolling, I don't know when you're rolling with Mary Jane, his everyday crossover is him getting a girl that far out of his league, right? When Mephisto fucked up the universe for a while, he was doing me a favor. Because Pete don't deserve a black cat. He doesn't deserve a Mary Jane. I don't care that she's fictional.
Is that what it is? It's a little bit of jealousy there.
Charlie has multiple big-ass domes sort of somewhere hidden in that fucking offices. Christian, what about you, bro? Like, I know that when I'm watching live from the Secret Stash weekly, as I do, I know that you're sometimes playing a little bit of catch up, especially when you have the fucking the genius, the fucking dictionary, encyclopedia knowledge next to you.
But
so like, what are your more recent discoveries with like crossover shit?
Yes, while I have to deal with the encyclopedic brain, it's the best teaching tool because I'm kind of late to the comic book game. I bought my first comic book, truthfully, in 2014. I had I had collections in my house that were not mine that I never got into them per se. Like, I always loved superheroes. Don't get me wrong. Spider-Man was a favorite, you fucking asshole.
Way to go, Charlie. This is our guest.
Way to alienate your guest there, Charlie.
Unbelievable.
The whip. the whip. Fuck out of here.
Mind your fucking business. Anyway, just from the latest of like figuring things out and understanding the books more, I've been coming across mine are a little bit more silly because I don't know when do you guys like full on consider crossovers like when like comic books when Superman and Batman are together and stuff like that.
We were doing intercompany crossovers, but yeah.
World's Finest was like there were not many of those type of stories out there when they started rolling that stuff. So,
but a lot of the comic book crossovers I'm fans of are kind of the weirder ones, like the ones that I've picked up that I thought were just so absurd. I had at least had to have the first issue. One of them being Suicide Squad versus the Banana Splits. It's such
wonderful.
a ludicrous concept that I was like, you know what? I'm about it. They haven't done anything with those characters in like 60 years. Let them fucking beat the shit out of the Suicide Squad. That's fucking cool. I'm all right with that.
Booster Gold meets the Flintstones. Why the fuck not?
Why the fuck not, indeed. I will say this, though. Those crossovers, Christian, are like mother's milk for comic book nerds because at my second visit to the old stash ever, the first time I went, my brother took me. One of the greatest birthday celebrations of my life. The second time, I wind up going solo because I was in Jersey, and I added to my stack of comics Punisher meets Archie. Because I was like, if there's going to be something to pop these merchants of glorious four-color funny books, it would be the Punisher straight up hunting down Archie. Now, I suspect he was hunting down Archie because, again, the boy just needs to make a decision between those two chicks, but that's to be discussed at another time.
Mr. Larson had it up to here with that Andrews fella.
I was no sold to hell and back at the stash that day. The place was packed. I was like, huh? What about this comic? They were like, yeah, $20. It was
get out of here,
the best of times, the worst of times. But truly, like all stash visits, led to an awesome conversation. But Archie versus Punisher is one of those crazy crossovers.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you invoke the Flintstones. Another one like that for me, though, because Archie keeps getting into shit. Archie versus Predator?
What?
Yes.
If you don't own Archie versus Predator and you're then provided an opportunity to pick that up, ideally at the secret stash,
I will get it.
it is
special orders replaced by the stash in front of your eyes.
One of the greatest covers ever. It's just a shared milkshake. I think it's Betty, Archie, and the Predator. And frankly, I'm here for it. I'm here for it 10 out of 10 times.
There was one cover with the Predator with Jughead's fucking crown.
Well, yeah, but Predator's all about taking trophies, dude. Like, what better trophy are you going to walk away? Oh, my God.
In the Archie gang than his crown.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you boys my two favorite. That was the Superman and Spider-Man. And Charlie, your hatred of Spider-Man is well taken. Not appreciated, but well taken.
Speak for yourself.
My two favorite. No, I didn't say it. I said it was not appreciated. My two favorite crossovers were relatively recent in the grand scheme of things. It was Batman meets Captain America.
Oh,
it was Earth 2 Batman from 1944 meets Captain America, and it's so it's written and drawn by John Byrne. Just an amazing prestige format book that doesn't get enough love, in my opinion. Because you got Batman and Captain America, and then you got Bucky and Robin.
How recent is this?
This is, I think, like 2000.
Wow.
So it was.
It's one of those combos that fits so well together. Just because of that added twist of that era Batman.
Well, but also the parallels are like so one for one. They're like, oh yeah, sure. To me, it's always and obviously again these are big ones, but like JLA versus the Avengers.
My second. That was my second choice.
But for people, for an artist to fight the lure of drawing, like, okay, so it's gonna be Superman, and who are you gonna have across the page? Like, they have all of their analogs across universe. They just can't avoid it. But honestly, I never really connected Bucky with Robin, and looking at it when it's right there, in 4 colors in front of you, it's impossible to miss. Like, hell yeah! On a long enough timeline, Robin is losing an arm. I think we can all kind of like put good money on it.
Poor Dick has suffered plenty. If as a spy he didn't lose an arm, I think it's maybe Damian to lose the arm. God
Charlie
knows Batman
hates
has
Spider-Man,
enough
but
sight.
loves Dick like you read about.
I do. It's the
Arrow's
buns.
protege name?
Oh, Speedy, and he lost an arm in
Him and Speedy would be like, "Yo, we're amputee buddies. What's good?"
Speedy got bigger issues all over town. Poor Speedy. Woo!
Yeah.
What about Christian?
I'm sorry.
Crowbars up from Joker Stream. Joker Stream over on Twitch never
Joker
disappoints.
Stream, Dynamite, Twitch streamer, gamer. He always drops in on the weekly. His commentary is
thank you, Joker.
Top notch.
You
checking in from YouTube.
Charlie, you reminded me that there was consequences to, like, in the Batman Spawn, in the Batman Captain America. John Byrne used that. He springboarded a lot of that stuff into his Superman Batman Generations, which I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And one of the things that I had thrown out there, and this is going back when I used to do another comic-centric podcast, and someone who was a much worse student than you. But I threw this out there, and I thought that this would be just so cool if you did a crossover and you allowed the other, you switched characters for a year, 1 year.
Oh,
Captain America in Detective Comics.
Oh my God, that would be sick.
And then you have Captain America, Captain America, just a banner, and then Captain America in Detective Comics, and Captain America and Bruce trade places.
That would be insane.
So Steve Rogers comes over and he's like, holy crap, and he's got to lead the JLA or be there. Well, he takes over for Superman. He's like, hey, listen, this is, you guys are great.
This is what I do. I lead teams, baby.
Right. And then you got Batman over in the Marvel universe, and he's like, wow, you people are all creepy fucks. Just he does shit his way, and Tony Stark's like, or Batman's like, you know what? I'm gonna do a startup, and I'm gonna take down Stark Enterprises because fuck him.
I'm not gonna lie. When you started this pitch, I thought it was more of like a Freaky Friday situation, where Cap was in Bruce Wayne's body. And then it was the same vice versa, but like I still like this.
No,
pitch.
but you got Captain America and Damian Wayne, as Robin. And is
what I love about that is Alan Jones over on Facebook brings up a great point. He's a rule follower like Soups, so throwing Captain America into Gotham City, we're playing by the rules. Ultimately, people have been complaining about Batman not killing Joker. That's times a billion, because how does Captain America deal with a city that doesn't... Gotham would not give a shit about patriotism, would not give a shit about a war veteran that was frozen in time. Gotham don't roll like that. So that is a great way to revitalize the fish out of water story that, frankly, is when Captain America's at his best. It's when he doesn't fit into the kind of shoes he must. Oh, God. With the current state of the comic book industry, a 1 year trade like that would be... There's no way it doesn't break sales.
That's
records.
An event.
Of course not.
You want an event? That is an event. Let me ask you this though, because I graduated high school mid-90s. Had a little bit of time. I didn't roll right into college, so I was right there on the front lines for the Image boom, and I had literally nothing else to do but to go to my 3-hour day job, and then I would go and spend the rest of the day largely at my local comic shop, which is actually where I saw Clerks for the first time. They played movies and videos all day long because they were slackers like us. But I was right there and just all on board for the Image push. I know it gets a ton of hate for some reason, but I'm such a sucker for mid-90s comics. Are you guys familiar? Do you have any memories at all of the Deathmate books, Black, and like all the crazy crossovers? Which some people didn't even know the characters.
We were just talking about this. We were just talking about how when Liefeld and Company jumped ship and created Image Comics, how they brought.
Is the book still in the pile?
Oh
wait,
no,
Supreme.
you haven't.
Yeah.
How they they pretty much brought their sense of this is
Love
Christian's
Supreme.
homework
Love Supreme
for next
Christian,
week. Yeah, Supreme.
You get to read it for the first time.
Yeah, I know, right? So how they brought their like these archetypal characters over with them, but they skewed it. Like Stormwatch was S.H.I.E.L.D. with superheroes, and Youngblood was the X-Men if they were publicly, thumbs upped.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, the Avengers more.
Yeah, more Avengery.
Kind of like a hodgepodge, certain
and
characters.
Wildcats was like the X-Men, but just
extreme.
Yeah, exactly.
Ripclaw was like Wolverine if he wasn't in every book that's ever been published.
Right, and they tried to put Ripclaw in every book that was ever published. And, but you're looking at these, and Supreme was Superman without a conscience, and
that sold me on
Brightburn
this right
before
away.
Brightburn. So, but this is a love letter. The Supreme is a love letter to the Superman of the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
It's the Kurt Swan era and the, going all the way back to the 1940s where, Superman was truth, justice, and the American way. And you know what, Charlie, I love that concept of, Cap being that fish out of water, the man out of time. And like, I look at some of the stuff that went on, and I'm an 70s and 80s guy. I was cemented as a comic fan, 75, 76. I was like, damn, this is something that I'm going to love forever. Not consciously, but it's in the back of my head. I'm like, I'm going to love this forever. George Perez, my man. John Byrne, you bet. But, and so many missed opportunities when Steve Englehart was booted off of the Avengers and Jim Shooter took over, and they had introduced Wonder Man. Now, Wonder Man's, he lost 10 years of his life being, dead.
It happens.
So
Gets in the way.
Exactly. Hey, how many of us haven't died and come back 10 years later?
Yeah, come on.
I think we can all relate.
It's a Saturday night, man. Come on.
But Cap was frozen for 20 years at that point. Between 1945 and 1965, ostensibly he was out for 20 years. And Wonder Man's the same thing. He was a fish out of water. And you didn't see that bonding, which I thought was a huge missed opportunity right there. Because Cap should have been like, hey, Wonder Man, you and I was there when you betrayed us. But, let me try to get you back on track because the Avengers were there for me. Let me be there for you. And that would have been so cool and such, we got Wonder Man and the Beast, which is a spectacular, duel. But for me, I'm like, oh, damn it. I would have loved to have seen that. And the one thing that was like, wow, that is kick ass was during the Count Nefaria thing.
Yes.
One of my favorites is Cap's like, I'm out of it. I can't stand and fight. Wonder Man, you take my shield. And it's like, that's the first time Cap's ever given anybody his shield to use. And I'm like, God damn, that's cool shit.
Yeah, it's meaningful. You know what's interesting too? Like a lot
chills
of
inducing.
those a lot of those storytellers, and we kind of relate everything to just storytelling. The medium is almost secondary. I mean, I love, you know, visual art. I love tactile art. I love, you know, the written word. But at the end of the day, it's the story that's the most important. How whatever your delivery system is, it always bugs me when like you said, when somebody doesn't have the opportunity to kind of ripped away from them, the baby's taken away because, you know, it's not theirs biologically, and they don't get to kind of finish that thought out, or sometimes not until many years later. And I believe that that's probably the most common reason that we do get analog type characters like, well, this seems kind of familiar. Yeah, dum-dum, because somebody had a story to tell, but they were not allowed to use that particular toy. So they whipped up a look-alike, and then now you're getting that story. So it really does all matter. It all counts.
And I think what's beautiful that Mike brought up, and it's something that Christian gets to experience now, is that these storytellers, there's a misconception right now, I think, in the comic book industry, and I'm guilty of sometimes feeling this way, because I almost said to Mike a couple of seconds ago, how lucky to fall in love in comics when you did. With the thought in that moment being like, well, I grew up with such dog shit, but at the time I didn't know it was bad. My comics were the gateway drug. Comics. Well, I had to read terrible, no offense, I love Ghostbusters, but those real Ghostbuster comics for a long time were terrible. It took until IDW to make it kind of great. But that's how I found the Teen Titans. I was reading real Ghostbusters, and that poor, beautiful bastard at the comic book store took pity on my soul, and he slid in a Perez Teen Titans
real
book.
Knowledge.
And the new Teen Titans exploded my brain. I don't know if we can have a better final thought than that absolute magic that Mike just dropped us. John, do you want to do the transition, or shall I?
Well, look, I mean, the bottom line is if you think that you can't take a final thought from the great comic book mind that is Mr. Mike Zapsik, then you, my friend, are a goddamn liar. Just like that no-chin-having, plastic toy thing purveying summer bitch, George Lucas. Because, Charlie, George Lucas is a liar.
Oh, I know.
Han shot first, baby. New official merchandise available at USComics. Yeah. I salute, boys.
Clinky salute, boys.
Gentlemen, if I could just interject here for 1 second, please. I don't think it's really fair to call that a liar, but
that is the...
you know, there are things that you just don't understand about the Galactic Senate that I was trying to introduce into
everyone loves space politics. Everybody, that's the official audition reel.
Yes, I think you're full of shit.
I fought tooth and nail for you, so I think you should have a little gratitude.
Oh yeah, what happened?
You Jamaican sounding motherfucker.
Oh, that is beautifully terrible, and I love it so much. I want to frame it.
What else you got, Charlie?
Boys and girls, as I will keep telling you for a few months to come, I have been blessed with another year on this mortal coil. And I was given a gift by HBO Max. No, it wasn't new episodes of Last of Us, but that is a gift that so far keeps coming. No, it's not another beautiful comic book day. HBO gifted me with the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy Valentine Day special. Boys of the Secret Stash, did you get an opportunity to see this this wonderful, goofy special?
I have not as of yet. That does not mean that I will not go home afterwards and watch it. However, I did a full rewatch of Star Trek Strange New Worlds last week. Does that count?
It does. It does. What about you, Christian? Did you get a chance yet?
I've also been busy, man. I did not get a chance.
No worries.
But here's the thing, though. I fucking love the Harley Quinn cartoon.
That makes two of us.
I think it's one of the best things DC has done in a long, long time.
Oh, well, hold on. May I just say one thing?
Go for it.
This is a big one. Fuck the suits.
Fuck the suits.
Fuck the suits. Hashtag
Fuck those suits.
Telling me that Batman don't go down on Catwoman
On
what
Valentine's Day. How dare you?
I'm telling you. You know who's a superstitious and cowardly lot? The fucking suits. You bastards.
I think what
They
we've
only
seen.
had a brain.
I think what we've seen finally, and I think Harley Quinn was part of the solution and not really part of the problem, at least in animated form, is I feel like, at least over at DC, a resistance is built up. And I think it's on the back of this glorious animated Harley that they now feel more and more comfortable to push and push and push the envelope into such lunacy that when one half of the new guys running DC dropped into frame, he said, you know what? Fuck the suits. They've been fucking with everybody. They fucked with Cavill. They fucked with Batfleck. They're just real bastards. God damn it, Ellis, over on Twitch.
Ellis is not just the in-house color supreme artist for USComics. He is almost an undefeated heavyweight champion of Comment of the Day. We have a very early contender to the title.
That's
Remember,
amazing.
kids, DC stands for Doesn't Cunnilingus. Somehow it just works. Ellis, chef's kiss for yourself.
That's t-shirt worthy, if I do say so myself.
That might be the one to come out of
That's on
episode
his
405.
business card. I say
Exactly.
t-shirt worthy shit all day.
Man, so good.
What's amazing about this special, first of all, I think the Harley Quinn Valentine Day special, if nothing else, it proves we need more of these holiday specials. As far as my money goes,
And we're getting a lot already.
yeah, it's
More.
Marvel has done a great job with it so far. Honestly, the last real stinker of a holiday special was the Star Wars holiday special.
I was about
but
to
if
say,
you ask,
isn't that crazy that you're saying that out loud? We need more of these holiday specials.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I really do my best there, and you know,
it's like poetry.
I wouldn't really. It's
Means I think you should sit the fuck down.
just watch the artist watching his art spin around the toilet.
I have nightmares of dancing stormtroopers
Harry was
to this
high.
day.
Harrison was high.
Oh, shit.
Mark,
Now you know why, George.
Mark
Were
was
you
probably.
high?
I was. No, I've never imbibed. Never.
You could
Man's fucking drunk.
goddamn tell. First and first, mostly, I do have to name drop once again. We are joined this week by the boys of Alive from the Secret Stash. And that, of course, is the world famous Jay and Silent Bob Secret Stash. We got 2/3 of the crew joining us. Mike, on the episode that just happened before this, you can catch the replay on Facebook anytime you want over at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash Facebook page. But Mike was talking about a glorious idea for a drive-in. And dare I say, if we throw Mike on Cameo, as I can't believe it's not George Lucas, $50 a pop,
Just throw money at him.
we are going to make that drive-through a reality. No, you do not need to join his OnlyFans, because that's $200 a month, but the man gets freaky.
By
You
God,
said book
is
him
it worth
today.
it, boys?
I just joined earlier today. I'm more than happy to password share if anybody has, maybe.
Hey,
Paramount
now
Plus.
you're taking money out of my.
Driving. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
there you go.
That's my retirement plan.
I meant to
You
say
gotta-
that off
you-
camera. That's my bad.
You
That's my
gotta give, not take, John. What's great about these holiday specials, and I think what's going to be great about this initiative that James Gunn has over at DC, is that there's going to be a mainline universe, and then there'll be stuff like the Harley Quinn show that'll still exist and just be under the banner of Elseworlds. And in Harley's world, you may very well see a character blown up to quadruple their size, and they might fuck some buildings. This
Spoiler alert.
I said it may happen. My jaw was dropped for almost the entire runtime of this holiday special But all it got me to think about, of all things, my nearest comparison was when HBO did the Spawn animated series, and people getting their faces exploded and torn in half. There's something about the freedom of these holiday specials. There's something about the freedom of these different formats. I gotta know, with everything that you've loved and hated about comics, everything you've loved about the adaptations, I'll start with you, Mike. Is there a story, when James Gunn said that there was going to be everything could live under the bubble of DC cinematically, because some shit would be Elseworlds, the first thing I thought is, if they really want to pay back Henry Cavill, do Red Sun. Just bring him back, do an Elseworlds, do it as a trilogy, 3 films, the 6 hours, and tell the Red Sun story.
I don't even think that would be necessary, Charlie. You could do that as an Elseworlds single series, a one-season series, because
like a limited series,
which they've done with Watchmen.
Yes,
straight. Watchmen was a prime example,
which was incredible. Mike, do you have something that either hit the cinemas or hit the small screen that didn't live up to what you wanted as an adaptation? Or are these adaptations not your thing?
Let me go ahead and sit down.
Yeah, seriously, you might want to lay down, John.
Get a pillow.
To be honest with you, it's the entire slate of DC. Now, Charlie, I'm going to throw this out there. Batman 89, Batman with Michael Keaton, Batman by Tim Burton. We got Batman. I don't know if you remember the hype. Were you around? Were you alive?
I was very little, so I only know the hype in after events like the wonderful one in Smodcastle Cinemas gave me a taste.
But it's really weird because I wasn't around for there was Batmania in '66 when Batman '66 premiered. Yes, the Batusi, the swinging Batman, and it was insane. They said that for 3 years, I mean, it died down, but it was that same summer that energy was like throughout the country. People were
Batman
like
fever.
Batman, and we had Batman fever. We had Batusi fever. People were going nuts, and Batman, when it came on the big screen for us back in '89, there was, you had people going, "Oh my God, I love Batman." It's like, I've never seen you in a comic book store, but hey, God bless you. I'm not coming out of my hole. And,
not for nothing. That was also the age of the quote unquote closet nerd,
right?
Because you couldn't really be the popular nerd. So I wouldn't be surprised if those were actual fans, but just would not admit it on the regular. But now that Batman was popular, it was like, shit, yeah.
I was a closet nerd until that movie came out, and then I'm like, I love this shit, and I was like unapologetically, and from then on, it was just like, fuck, I don't care what anybody thinks.
Well, there was suddenly equity in it. There was, going from that transition, at least from somewhat of an outsider's perspective, it went from even once the '66 mania died down, it became like, oh, Batman's kind of corny. And then when Keaton shows up,
tongue in cheek, the whole series.
Yeah. They allowed a cool factor, and I remember distinctly, not so much the original '89, but I remember for Batman Returns, there was equity in digging Batman. I was always out of that comic book nerd closet, but I did kind of have to push poor Kal-El to the back, and I'm like, no, black suits are better. They're
like a ninja.
Exactly. Like, you can't see him sometimes, minus the giant emblem, because he wants to be shot in the chest.
Let me
Seems
ask
like
you,
a shit plan.
Let me ask you this though, Mike, because I was right there. Matter of fact, our older brother, that's how close we were. Our older cousin Jason snuck probably 3 or 4 of us youngsters into a sold-out showing of the original Keaton Batman, and we were sitting there just happy as clams.
That must have been a big-ass trench coat.
Yeah, seriously, were you pulling out fucking Little Rascals?
It's a good thing he went into. he went into law enforcement because he had basically broken every law there was. So he's like, I know how people do this. But yeah, this was back in the days where you could just open that back door and just sneak as many kids in before the flashlights go on. But in any case, that it was so popular at the time and so out of the blue that they actually revived the 60s Batman, and they put it on back on network TV. So you would have come back from school, you would do your homework, and then from like 4 to 5, you got 2 episodes of the show Batman, because they didn't know what else they could possibly do. We got terrible cereal, Batman, buttons all over your backpacks, Batman,
lunch boxes.
Yeah, Batman.
Forget it. And it was a new era. It was back.
But then we had Batman the Animated Series. So to answer your question, Charlie, is there there's even Batman 89, which like reinvigorated the comic book industry and made people go, hey, this stuff doesn't suck. The source material, I'll go back and take a look at it.
Also, this comment is actually like kind of on point.
No,
because it's incredibly accurate. Because I mean, what Batman 89, Prince is probably at the peak of his fucking career.
Oh my God, yes.
Top level Prince.
Top of the fucking world.
The only person who is more popular at that time is Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And then he does a fucking song on the soundtrack. It's
a bunch of songs, not just one.
He did the whole album. He did everything but the score. And of course, the comment we're referencing, our boy Ellis over on Twitch, once Prince made a song about Batman, comic book nerds, went mainstream, and never fucking looked back. For me personally, if you told me that DC's whole plan for this new era of Batman that's coming out, if they were just doing adaptations of episodes of the animated series, like, yeah, we're doing Heart of Ice live action. Be like, don't change the script at all. Just film that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Just all you have to do is pad it out a little bit more. Make the fight scenes like a little more kick-ass.
Yeah, or just do that action movie bullshit where the credits are fucking 20 minutes. Yeah. Like, how the fuck did you consider this a full movie? Oh, the credits never end? Each best boy gets his own film, says and what happens after?
Them's the days.
John, were you and me just laughing at the same thing?
I think we were.
MJ wrote do the Bartman.
Just Ellis. He's
like, all right,
Prince bottomless font.
Prince had fucking Batman. I got Bart Simpson, bitch.
And he did.
He did. Fucking.
Well, have we ever determined if that was actually him doing the voice on that episode?
Not the singing voice. The
speaking voice.
The speaking voice is him. The singing voice is someone else.
Amazing.
But there is a really cool thing. If you look it up online, he did a demo of it. So, and it's all like Michael-esque production.
That's
so it
amazing.
sounds like his music of the 90s. It's actually a pretty good demo.
May your day be better than your heart's desire and your first kiss from a boy.
Lisa, it's your birthday. Sorry. Anyway,
here's the musical section. We're just gonna let Christopher.
We always do have a musical interlude. You guys are just on top of it.
All right.
It's outstanding because like Charlie was saying, there are the delivery systems that when they hit, all of a sudden like whole new worlds open up. And whereas Batman did that prior with Keaton, and it's amazing to see him in the Superworld crossover with all the superhero trailers we got. To kind of see that version of Batman moving so fluidly, he looked like he'd even look around if he wanted to. Like it was a technological marvel.
He can move his neck.
Like Joker, just go behind him. He will never catch you ever in that suit. But yeah, to kind of get that now back onto the back into the popular consciousness, that is to me like what Harley Quinn, the animated series specifically. God bless Margot Robbie, because I could just look at her all day long. We've now got the new version with Lady Gaga. She's gonna be doing her thing over in the Elseworlds version. But to me, it's the animated series that's like, she's just out there. The character is just out there. So when you want to talk about, to me, you want to talk about inclusion. You want to talk about different lifestyles. Never mind the crazy part of it. Never mind the green chick walking down the street barefoot part of it. But like, these are two characters that they're just in love. And that's the way it plays. Like, look at these two crazy motherfuckers, but you never doubt that the feelings are there.
Genuinely in love.
Right,
You
absolutely.
need these type of every story to me is a moral story. I don't give a shit if it's a commercial for the Super Bowl. I don't care if it's a, hey, did you see what happened down the street? I don't care if it's a comic book, a movie, a book, whatever the case. They're telling you a story for a reason. It's not just an entertainment. It's not just a way to kill an hour or two. They're saying, look, you need to know these things, and this series is fucking doing it like a champ. It's just amazing to me. It's just amazing to me.
You were talking about the holiday specials, the both of you, and my favorite of the holiday specials has been Werewolf by Night. I mean, I absolutely adored the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, but
that's like it's almost in a league of its own with how good it is.
The Werewolf by Night, absolutely,
so
and it
good.
was
Werewolf by Night's a gold standard now.
yes, absolutely, and I'll tell you a couple things that just to check off some boxes. One, that was, like I said, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s. Werewolf by Night was a guy named Jack Russell. It was Jack Russell.
Thank you, Joker.
Was this Jack Russell? Sure. Is Joker leaving?
Yeah, Joker's out.
Joker, check it out.
Take care, Joker. And this was a little bit more. He was more of the taboo written. He's got a Latino flavored.
Yeah, baby.
Sure.
Love it. But he was Jack Russell. He still acted the way that Jack Russell acted back in the 70s and the 80s in his own, the Werewolf by Night series. And it was so cool to see him and Man-Thing together. And you just said it, you believe that Harley and Ivy are in love. You believed every step of the way that Jack and Ted were buddies. They were friends. They were best friends.
Damn straight.
And they had each other's backs. And goddamn, if it hit you in the heartstrings. It hit you right there. I'm like, this is fucking great.
And I think these specials, especially, what they allow that extra layer of kind of informing what these characters are, who these characters are, how they operate, and you don't necessarily need to do more than a special to get them over. I think suddenly this character that I think we can all agree was pretty obscure, now they absolutely can use again and again and again because they've done the heaviest part of that lifting. And for me to be saying that about Man-Thing, that's a bet I would have lost 10 out of 10 times. Like everyone being like Swamp Thing's uglier cousin. Like, no, it's this like rich
Elephant
character that's
Swamp Thing with elephantitis. That Man-Thing. What the hell are you talking about, Charlie? All you guys. When's the last time that you've even heard somebody utter the two words Elsa Bloodstone? Like, they're also taking characters and dusting them off in front of our eyes, and now all of a sudden you're like, when am I getting more of this bitch? Like,
right.
They're doing such a great job, and it doesn't need to be these huge sprawling sagas to get you to care about people. They made us do it in less than an hour, I felt like.
Yeah, they did. We're at that point now with the MCU where they could just name drop practically anybody, and then comic sales for that character just surge like no one's fucking business. But it's also great for someone like me who is sitting there, of course, knowing who the base characters of the MCU are. But when I hear a name like that, and then I talk to you, you're like, oh, there's this whole fucking legacy thing that I get to now experience firsthand. And it's fucking awesome.
But Christian, you know what's amazing about that? And I'm going to join Mike and my brother in being jealous of you getting to read some of this stuff for the first time. It also just now the people, the masses, are very, very willing to jump on a bandwagon before the product's made. Because James Gunn name dropped what the first few movies out of the gate were, and all of those DC kind of collections sold out everywhere. People were buying Supergirl hand over fist.
Look at who you're saying that to.
It's true.
Sold out.
I think he probably knows.
Yeah, you're Charlie. You'd be right. I can tell you, absolutely, you're right. And I get calls like, "Hey, what do you got as far as Booster Gold goes?" I'm like,
everything.
nothing right now. I got nothing.
But we're out of stock.
Yeah, I can tell you about
that's
it.
dope.
Yeah, that is awesome.
That's so
Booster
dope.
Gold.
The blue and the gold.
So excited.
Good.
I know. I'm telling you, and I can't wait for the Blue Beetle.
Oh, I know.
Love Blue Beetle.
Oh, God.
And there's like all sorts of rumors
But I
about.
hope we get 2 Blue Beetles.
I think it's been confirmed.
Blue Beetle also got switched from streaming to theatrical now. So that is going into
best
theaters
sign.
instead of HBO
Such
Max.
a good sign.
There was one point I wanted to make, though, about the Harley Quinn show that I wonder if you
please.
guys feel the same way. So the Harley Quinn animated series falls into the Elseworld category, which I have no problem with.
Sure.
But to be honest with you, I think the casting is so on point that I think it could be a part of that DCU that James Gunn is planning.
I would love it.
I
Absolutely.
think everyone that they have playing on that show could easily transition into playing those characters
Absolutely.
in live action.
Lake Bell would be a phenomenal Poison Ivy.
Oh.
Kaylee Cuoco would be a very good
Diedrich
substitute.
Baker is Batman.
Diedrich Bader. Well, he's
Bader.
he's a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, but still, I think it would be. I think it would still be
But
interesting.
you know what, though, Christian? We're on the precipice of a magic moment where there may just be a live action special with those actors playing those characters. We don't have to live in these tiny little isolated worlds. If nothing else, the one thing I can't take away from Spider-Man, he helped open up this 3-way dance with any version of a character can show up in any form, anywhere. I have to give
one
that
good meme. You need
freak.
one good meme, and there's nothing off the table.
But
And I'm going to tell you this, boys,
That's
and
true.
this is coming from a guy who's been retailing comics for a long time. And yes, the multiverse started with DC. And that's exactly where those mofos should have started. They should have been the ones, not the Doctor Strange's multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
It should have been Batman's or the Flash's multiverse of madness. Oh my God, just one of my pitches for the DC shit, the shit show that they've got going on now. But you've got like 4 Batman comics coming out every week, or a Batman comic a week. Batman Detective, make that from the 40s. Make that. Do it.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Get some noir stank on it.
Right, and highlight
Oh, that'd be dope.
the fact that he's a goddamn detective, the best one since Sherlock Holmes. So he has to, figure out riddles. And then you've got Batman, and make Batman, I don't know, Batman doing shit around Gotham, where he's, sort of Spawn-esque.
Yeah.
There you go. Batman.
Make Batman scary.
Yeah, Batman Brave and the Bold. Let's have him interact with the rest of the DC universe.
Yeah, that's where the 7 Robins come into play.
When you
Motherfucker
have,
has
when you have
all
super,
the kids.
super powered meta beings who are still kind of afraid of a guy dressed as a bat, this motherfucker's got something going on. There's something going on behind the cowl, man.
Damn straight. And Batman Shadow of the Bat, have that be Batman skirting the supernatural. Because he does that a lot.
Rolling with
Absolutely.
And that allows you to bring in those characters from that.
Constantine.
anytime you could cross over Batman with Swamp Thing, I'm here for it. Final thought on these amazing crossovers. We need more of them. We need this quality to stay as epic as it is. But our wonderful friends from the Secret Stash joined us, but that doesn't mean that suddenly John and I are wealthy. We could never afford them. They have to donate their precious time. Exactly right, to be on the show, but we have to pay some bills. And the good news is, for you glorious people that tune in week after week. We're not like other pods who just sell out for some random brand that's willing to pay. No, because today we are once again brought to you by one of our favorite bands, Bad Mary. You heard them during the intro. You're going to hear them again at the end of the show. If you're wondering where else you can catch their act, you can follow them over at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/Bad Mary Band. You can stay up to date at badmary.com for merch and upcoming performances. But my favorite part isn't that they're on tour in Japan soon. It's that every single song, every single album they've ever released is available on all music streaming services.
Damn straight, but I have to ask you one question, Charlie, after that beautiful diatribe. Where we dropping with Sergeant Finesse? Find him currently gaming as a gaming partner on Facebook, but he's also as well as on Twitch. He's on Trovo. He's on this new thing called Kick, which is getting its own app. I know Christian knows all about them streaming services. You can catch him with multiple gaming streams every day. Outstanding video game content, supporter games, co-streams, giveaways, contests. Don't be a sucker. Check him out today when the Sergeant's on deck. You salute. But also as well as Charlie, you gotta give him the details, bro. Charlie, what can you find standing beautifully and proud at 65 Broad Street in beautiful Red Bank, New Jersey? Would you tell me?
Well, my friends, that is the only comic book store that matters. Why? Here's why. Because they deliver. We have 2/3 of the amazing crew of Live from the Secret Stash. That third member, she's probably working her hands to the bone, getting those online orders ready to be shipped out to you. If you have ever wanted to dive into a new collection, if you find yourself in Jersey, do yourself a favor, stop by Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. It is my mecca, and that mecca only grows because now you can go to the Quick Stop, get yourself a snack. You can go to Kevin Smith's movie theater, Samad Castle Cinema. If you go to one of those special events, you could see the real star of the Smodcast Cinemas. And that's, of course, our friend Christian running the board, making the magic happen. But the absolute tip of the spear, the greatest place, gives me that, ooh, I'm home feeling, is, of course, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. They got comics, they got Kevin Smith merch, they got signed books, they got slab books. They're buying collections all the time, but we have the source. Right now, if you go in and you tell, hey, Mike, I saw you on USComics Cast, he will charge you 10% more because he did this show for free, and you get to do that privilege. You can order plenty online. There's always amazing deals. What's great, my favorite thing about it is every now and then you pop in and there'll just randomly be some amazing swag you have to pick up. Expensive stuff like a jersey, inexpensive stuff. My favorite item, I think it's still available. There's a Moobies lunchbox that Jay and Bob signed, and I think it's $30 or is it $20, Mike?
$20.
$20.
Nice.
It is just for you. Just because you're listening to this podcast and watching me right here, right now, you mention US Comics and tell them that John or Charlie sent you. I'll give you 10% off all your back issues.
Unbelievable. The greatest. I do not kid when I say it is
it's a destination.
Special place. It is absolutely a destination. And again, that Kevin Smith universe keeps growing, and right there is the thing that helped inspire him in the first place, with some of the greatest employees, some of the coolest people I've ever met. You go, you have a good time, you spend lots of money. That's the best part.
All the monies.
All of the monies. All the bajillion gazillion.
There's many alters. Iron Bob from Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. We got Buddy Christ from. Where else can you go and see movie memorabilia and walk out with those four color bunnies?
It's a great day. Real quick fun story. I mean, at least to me. So when I moved to this neck of the woods, I said, you know what? I spent a lot of time out on Long Island. I grew up in Queens, but I lived on the Upper West Side for a bit. When the decision was finally made to pull the trigger and cross that big, beautiful body of water, I said, well, it's kind of new to me. Jersey, here I am. Love me or leave me. At least I'll be nice and close to the Secret Stash. An hour later, I'm like, God damn, I still gotta get here. It's still gonna take a little work. However, it is worth it. You make a day out of it. Red Bank is a beautiful, beautiful town. Not gonna ever. Oh, you eat like a monster.
Right by the stash. There's that burger place I love.
Make a day out of it. Make that trip, guys. It's worth it every time.
You know, again, not to co-sign off of John, but as he preps for our next segment, to get to Smodcastle Cinema, to get to the stash, takes me a couple hours. I'm deep on Long Island. What makes that worth it is going there for the day. That's how you plan it. It's John's talking sweet science. You don't always get to see the beautiful Mike there, but no, he is always quarterbacking that entire experience. If you want a little bit of behind the scenes insight, I'll kiss a little bit more stash butt. But the man who helped set the
Christian
motif
are also wearing double underpants over their pants because kiss away. They knew it was coming.
You know.
Right now, if you join that Kevin Smith Club, you can see Mike walk you through with his wonderful partner in business, partner in life, his wonderful wife, the third part of Live from the Secret Stash. They walk you through a morning at the Secret Stash. I was blown away. I was so excited to experience that. And you never know who's going to show up at Smodcastle Cinemas when you see Christian. To see Christian, to know Christian, is to love Christian. Same with Mike, same with Julia. Again, you get that at-home feeling deep in Jersey. At least for me, it feels deep in Jersey. But
do me a favor. Stop saying deep in Jersey. It's making me uncomfortable.
Deep in Jersey, bro.
We love you guys.
We love you back. John!
What?
Let's talk about something else.
All right, that's fine. Guys, we spend a lot of time talking to you in person, digitally, smoke signals, the whole Megillah. I think at this point you know a few things about us out of our minds. We like to talk, but also as well as we are huge marks for the big S on his chest. Superman, Kal-El, Clark Kent, if you're nasty. Recently, we've had one of many changes. It's probably the most consistent thing about Superman over these many years is there's changes. Alan, I'm in Weehawken, so come on by, knock yourself out. But the situation for Superman being first and in our opinion best, it means that like change is inevitable. I understand you got to keep things fresh. You cannot roll out the same version that everybody knows. The big blue Boy Scout, shut up. However, certain changes to me seem extraneous. They seem like they're changes just to change, just to have something to talk about. I am very sure you guys are well aware because in one or another of the top fives, I remember seeing this, the flying through the air majestically, but wearing all white, like he's going to a Diddy summer all white party in the Hamptons. Our boy Kal-El is decked out like a rapper just before September. Just gonna immediately throw it right to you guys. Charlie and I are already on the same page. Guys, how do you feel about this Cher-esque costume change in the third act?
Go for it.
Does that not remind you of Jor-El?
I was just about to say
in 1978.
I think it's a cool call. I think for just that alone, I think it's a cool callback. Other than that, I got really no beef with it at this current juncture, considering that there's probably been much worse costume changes for this character.
There have
Granted,
been.
there's not electricity coursing all over his body, be it red or blue. I will grant you that. No Eradicator glasses on his face. I'll give you that. What about you, Mike? Where do you stand on the fashion?
Wow, Ellis, I love Ellis. This is wow.
Yeah, he's kind of right.
Yeah, this is.
This is right before Superman puts on his pointy hood. Wow. I hate it. Oh man!
But Superman is anti-racist, and I think that's
true.
Alice, you got to remember that. And but it's a callback. I don't necessarily. Maybe this is like formal wear for Superman. How about that?
It does look like he would
the
make
marine
a great
dress blues, the Kryptonian star
white tie and tails. What do you think?
I just imagine on top of a wedding cake, it would look I actually don't. I don't hate it as much as many, but like Mike was alluding to, I almost wish it was the Krypton robes. If you're gonna do, I love the idea of the like, I don't want to call it diamondless Superman S, but that's how I learned to draw the Superman S. I would draw the couple of fishies.
Sure.
And then a little diamond on the bottom,
just
diamond
right
on the top,
desk
little
at
curvy
school.
on the side. You know, so for me, there's something kind of striking about it. My question specifically for you, Mike, though, do these costume changes still zhuzh up the numbers in store? Are people still giving a rat's ass? We're so far removed from it being really important, in my opinion. Do you think the numbers reflect like, 10% more people are going to pick this up just in case it becomes valuable?
No, not really. And this is, way back when, back in like the 60s and the late 50s and the early 60s, when you had people like Carmine Infantino, who used to say, you put a monkey on a comic book cover and we're going to sell 20% more. Or, have the Flash talking directly to the comic book buyer and we'll sell 10% more. It doesn't really work that way anymore, boys. I hate to tell you. And Carmine Infantino, God love him, I'm sure, or Satan love him. I have no idea wherever he went, which way he went. But he was a curmudgeon, and he was pulling numbers out of his ass because it's not necessarily so. Gorilla. I mean, if that were true, gorillas would still be selling shit, even though this week we do have a lot of the Planet of the Apes variants for many of our Marvel comics.
And rightfully so.
Because that's coming in 2 months.
Charlie,
Marvel
I don't like this timeline because then that means that other real Ghostbusters is still prevalent.
Oh, no. the fact that we never got an episode of the real Ghostbusters where they fought a gorilla ghost will always bother me. You know what I find, and I don't mean this to sound gender specific. I certainly don't mean it in an offensive way. There's something I liked back in the day, classic Supergirl kind of being. There was a moment where she was almost a fashion icon. You could track her different super suits with kind of the current fashion of the time. There was something very interesting about that. I don't know if I would like the Superman suit more if it was like specifically Versace had to make him a super suit, or if Batman finally owned up to the fact that he's wearing armored Air Jordans. Little did I know that would affect Ben Affleck so much that after playing Batman, he wanted to get to the truth behind Air Jordans with his new flick. There's something about the aesthetic of these heroes that I think is so permanently locked in my mind that any deviation feels wrong. So when we went through our like leather daddy phase, my poor man Ben Affleck, God knows I love him. Oof. I'm a big fan of his giant back tattoo and his new J-Lo tattoo.
From all the leather costumes he has had to wear.
I just imagine the poor sound engineers that had to remove the squeaking of Daredevil running on rooftops in Affleck's Daredevil flick. I don't love these deviations. Last time I saw Mike in person, he was kind of leading the charge for Batman 89 at Smodcastle Cinemas, and I was fortunate enough to ask you this question, so I'll throw it out there again. Do you think these modern interpretations of the live-action supersuits, do they leave any room for those classic looks? James Gunn just a couple weeks ago asked the people, do we want panties on Superman's gear or not? Red on the outside, or is he just wearing his underpants on the inside? And at least according to Twitter, the people want those red panties. Mike, do you think that there's just no going back? Are we never going to get a spandex-clad 66 nodding Batman again?
I think that, unfortunately, I would love to see the spandex back. But it's we're kind of still stuck in that 90s mentality that the whole Cable and Rob Liefeld, let's put pads on everything.
Everybody gets pouches.
Yeah, pouches. And hey, who doesn't need a belt? Who doesn't need a bandolier across their midsection? Because
It's like, let's take superhero suits and make it tactical or
yeah,
something.
yeah, and
For a character with superpowers, that extra pocket for his keys is really important.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, if
You
you're
gotta put
driving the Batmobile,
you got to put the shark repellent somewhere. Goddamn, you know.
Well, but you know what I loved? Like, just to take that pouch idea for a second, what I loved is, I forget who it was, but there was someone that was making the props from the comic book. So it was Batman's utility belt, but they showed you on the 66 Bat belt where he would have had each capsule. One had aspirin, one had shark repellent spray, one had a tissue. Superman's, I remember exactly. For bats, that's important, that degen. When you don't eat pussy, you gotta fucking run the risk of knocking up Catwoman every time.
Those long Gotham nights on the rooftops, shit can get
But
crazy.
I'll never forget Superman's belt buckle opened up for him to put his glasses. And I think when you think too practical, too realistic, you lose the fun of well, where the fuck does he put his glasses? Or does he have a crazy glasses budget? My problem, ever since it got pointed out in one of the Marvel behind-the-scenes featurettes, if you look at any Marvel costume, it's not one piece, the top. It's an undershirt with sleeves, and then a vest. Captain America's wearing a vest that makes it look like a jacket, but his armpits need room to move. I don't want realism. Spandex, baby. Let's do it.
And we'll throw this to our guest also right away.
Yeah, the passion behind that too. Oh my god!
All characters, first, mostly are not created equal, but they're not even part of the same, demographic sometimes. So why is it? And I'm gonna use specifically. It's gonna seem like a shot, but it's not intended to be. The Marvel Cinematic costume department. Honestly, it looks like they took a page from Incredibles. Is there one little short?
According to She-Hulk, yes.
Edna out there, but yes and no, because he's supposed to be something special, whereas Edna made basically every super suit that was out there. Honestly, the Marvel costumes in the movies, they all look like they came from the same place, and I'm not sure if the aesthetic is, yeah, sure, if Daredevil's gonna rock a suit that's somewhat similar to what Punisher is doing or Captain America, at least their power sets or their abilities are close. Whereas the X-Men could literally run around naked if they wanted to. They could do whatever they wanted.
Most of them could. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Preferably some of the lovely ladies.
Psylocke,
Scott.
But they gave Cyclops every pouch that you could possibly imagine, and he needs none of them. He needs zero. No, but nothing. Honestly, you know what made me the most upset when they changed the look? When they took my girl Storm's mohawk away. Why would you do that? She was so distinctive looking. That whole uncanny era to me, and that I think is at the root of it is when you kind of absorbed a character or a group of characters as being dope, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give them my attention, throw my money at them. That's what it's always going to be to you. That's the version that I prefer. That's the way that they should look. And anything different, that's trash. But there have been so many changes lately. It's how do you even keep count?
Yeah.
There was something you said earlier in the beginning of that too that also I think is also part of the problem that people are starting to see through with Marvel, and it's the machine system, is that they have all the same production designers, the same set decorators, the same costume designers coming in to make these movies, and it takes away from the individual nature of them being movies in the first place. The first Iron Man is so distinctive from even fucking Shang-Chi, because it's okay, yeah, they're in the same universe for sure, but even on the aesthetics of the movie, they're so different. But when it comes to the costumes, when you have all the same fucking people doing all these movies back to back to back, of course you're gonna have the fucking same fucking costume look,
overlap,
even slightly. Which is why I think that a win for Marvel in the future, among other things, is, at least in the MCU, is to go back to the more creator-driven films where they really put effort into picking the director who then brings their team on board, because then you'll get their distinct looks. One of the biggest losses I think the MCU ever had was losing Edgar Wright to Ant-Man. Like, that alone could have set the precedent of like, yo, he's going to bring in his team, and this is going to be a real fucking distinctive movie.
You're going to know it's an Edgar Wright flick. Just from the soundtrack alone, the soundtrack would have been friggin' bomb diggy. But a lot of times there is this homogenization. I always kind of akin it to the Harry Potter movies. And I realize this is like outside of the comic book spectrum. But
but it's in pop culture.
Yeah, it's important.
But how many movies were there? 8? 7? Something?
Yep, 8.
Many of them.
8.
I feel like they had as many directors. Visually, they are indistinguishable. Forget about the plot, because I still can't follow half of those plots. But there are people going crazy playing that video game.
Forgeticus!
Well, when was the last time you watched those movies, actually? Because I would argue that there is a visual distinction in a few of them.
Yes,
Their
age.
Not just the age.
The darkness of the content of the movies.
That's valid. That's a valid point.
That, and then you look at the list of directors that did those movies, and then you're like, oh, that makes sense. Especially when for the first two, it was Christopher Columbus, and you could tell that it was kind of like that Christopher Columbus. The lighter tone.
Joyful.
And then, as Mike is alluding to, when you get darker into the books, you get more directors that come in with darker sensibilities. The guy who directed Gravity, one of his first movies, is one of the films in the Harry Potter franchise.
Which one was Bryan Singer when the kids were like really, really young?
Oh God, Mike!
Oh, I went there.
Come on!
I'm gonna get.
Mike's like,
that was the one where there were no
R-rated?
girls welcome on set.
Got it. I got you.
Charlie, I'm gonna throw this out to you because you asked the question, so I'm gonna answer it. I think that your spandex would work with Superman. Think about and Christian, great point about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They want to have a universal like look. They want them to all be uniform, and
that's a problem.
And that it becomes a problem. But when you're looking at like Superman can get away with just spandex. He doesn't need any of the textile, the textured.
The grid system looks like honeycomb hideout.
He could do it in a loincloth, let's be honest.
Yeah, seriously. Or he could do it in his half of a Klan uniform. Batman sort of needs the added armor. However, Nightwing, if they ever had the fucking balls to bring Nightwing to the big screen, which they goddamn should, because
we're getting Damian.
He is Superman without powers.
Come on, man.
Right?
James, don't let this man down.
Nightwing,
I love Nightwing so much.
Makes sense for Nightwing to have spandex and nothing extraneous.
Nope.
As a matter of fact,
he's daring you to hurt him.
Yeah. Come at me, bro.
Also, on this point of the spandex, for Superman, Superman and Lois actually did something kind of clever in the very first episode, where they had the homemade super suit that was clearly out of spandex, but then he goes, "Thanks, my mom made it," and flies off. I was like, that fucking makes sense in that world.
That was the most Superman thing about that entire freaking series thus far, and it made my heart so happy.
Yeah,
it's so easy to please. What's wrong with
I don't want to yell at the beautiful people that join us here week in and week out. I don't want to yell at Ellis, even though I do it every single week, because I love Ellis. But Ellis, over on Twitch, dropping that he disagrees because Nightwing was trained by Batman. He should wear a suit similar to Batman. Actually, he becomes Nightwing to get out of Batman's bullshit. Okay, he doesn't need Bruce's money. He can get a part-time job. He got Barbara. He can get goddamn spandex.
Charlie, did you take your medicine today?
I didn't.
I meant to.
That was kind of scary.
That was actually kind of scary. But Nightwing was rich on his own. So, I mean, he didn't need Bruce's money.
He got that collar on his own. He can get his cool, tight suit on his own.
And I love Disco Nightwing. I love
man.
You know who's
If
been
you're
trying
gonna
to
have
put
that
a
zipper,
Nightwing?
open it up to the belly button and let whatever happens happens.
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Do you know who's been trying to make a Nightwing movie for the longest fucking time? The same guy who did the Lego Batman movie. He had a pitch
awesome.
that when the universe was headed by Zack Snyder, they were very close to making. Why? Because I'm
sorry, I don't trust Zack Snyder as far as I can throw.
No.
Yeah, now I'm glad it didn't happen. Because imagine the fucking emo nonsense out of that version of Nightwing.
You wouldn't have
here's the
even
thing.
to see his costume.
This guy that they picked, though, it seemed to be one of those things that it wasn't just Snyder. It was more or less kind of a thing that might have happened during the regime change. But, like, if you actually... I think that he could have handled it pretty damn well. He seemed to be like an actual fucking fan like Zapsik. I think he had your thought process as well. His name was Charlie McKay. He worked on like Robot Chicken and a bunch of other
trust every other Charlie. So I'm down. We can still give him a shot.
Except for Charlie Day. That motherfucker.
Charlie.
Damn, man.
Fighter of the night, man.
There have been. So
we're doing it.
I will say this though. I am a mark for black costumes because when Charlie's dying, when Spider-Man, and again they say Reed Richards is the smartest guy over there. I don't know. Do you pluck something that's floating around in space and give it to a kid to wear? Usually bad things come from that, but that black suited Spider-Man, holy sheep shit, that did it for me. It's like it just won me over almost immediately. So sometimes, and that's Spider-Man's costume is probably one of the most iconic of all time. Forget about even just characters. Never mind comic book characters.
Yeah, and the dude made it himself. I mean, for fuck's sake, that's great.
You know,
why don't they teach home ec anymore?
Boy. I know. I made an elephant-shaped pillow in home ec when I was in school. I was pretty damn proud, but I don't think I would have a chance in hell to make a superhero suit. Yeah.
That brings up a good question. Christian, what's your favorite super suit?
Ooh. You're not going to like it. But Miles Morales and Spider-Verse.
I love Miles. Miles doesn't get my wrath. Miles is a cool character. I like it. He deserves a Spider-Gwen. Maybe he won't snap her neck like an idiot. Stupid Peter.
Him, and then it's a tie. And this super suit you could easily make because it's not really a super suit, but the Green Hornets get up.
Yeah,
it's still badass. Classy AF. I shouldn't be trusted because one of my favorite super suits of all time is the Eradicator's super suit. A giant Superman-esque ridiculous cape, black and like a navy-ish blue. You shouldn't trust me.
For all
I loved it so much. Mike, what about you? What's your favorite all-time super suit?
All-time favorite super suit. Huh. All right, this is gonna this is a deep cut. Okay. This is Starman. The original Starman.
Nice.
Green and red, fucking fin on top of your head. It was like a helmet. And that green goddamn those boots and the green cape. Just beautiful. Loved it.
Amazing. For those of you playing
Starman.
That's pretty dynamite.
Yeah.
And I gotta say that in Batman Brave and the Bold, the fact that Ted Knight was the guy was doing a Ted Knight impersonation.
Really?
It's so stupid. Yeah. So, Billy. And by the way, can I just ask one question? This is pop culture related, but not comic book related.
Please do.
Always.
The Michelob Ultra commercials in the Super Bowl with the Caddyshack shit going on. I kind of dug it. I love Brian Cox as Ted Knight.
I could see it.
I had Charlie, and Charlie can attest to this because we kind of caught little sneak peeks of what they were planning to do on Super Bowl Sunday. I had a kind of a minor heart attack thinking, are they rebooting Caddyshack? Because I still have nightmares about Caddyshack 2.
Oh, that fucking piece of shit.
And I like Jackie Mason. I met
You
him.
and me both,
He's
dude.
a very pleasant fella.
Jackie Mason can burn in hell for all I care now. After doing that, I thought he was fine, up until I had no beef with him until they made Caddyshack 2. And I'm like, motherfucker, that you and Robert Culp, you can suck Batista's balls in hell.
I had real legitimate fear that it was happening because on the long enough timeline they're gonna even reboot me. I do want to come back around the horn, starting with Charlie, but mine, I don't really stray too far. It's still a Superman costume, but I am in love. I would put a ring on it and plan to retire someplace nice like Tahiti, something pleasant temperature-wise. I absolutely love the Kingdom Come Superman outfit. There is something that is so, and what's very interesting about it is in its simplicity and its like classiness. If you could talk about superhero costumes in that way, look at all the other costumes around him. Even more so makes you like, look, this is a dude that dresses up wherever he's going. He don't wear shorts. Superman don't wear shorts. Underwear on the outside, sure. Shorts, no. But Charlie, I do want to ask you, what's your most hated costume change?
Oof, that is a great question. Can I list all the costumes used on Smallville? Because every single one, I defend that show. But whoever was
around,
like,
baby.
it'd be awesome, shiny fucking vests for everybody.
But
does that not work for me?
But now, does that also mean the Superman suit in the very last shot of the show?
Yes, I hate that 3D printed S. I hate the booty short. You want to talk about doing the red underwear wrong? He was wearing straight up booty shorts over his long johns. Not a great look. Not a great look.
Make that money, son.
If not that, despite how much I love when cosplayers do it, when Sue Storm did her attention grab Fantastic Four costume, it's just like, first and mostly, I've never loved how much I hated something since then. But that was you wouldn't pay attention to me if I was on fire.
She was mad at Reed. She said, you know what, let me just saunter by Namor wearing this little very subtle 4 cutout on my chest, looking like Power Girls wannabe.
Alan Jones has been on fire in the comment section over at Facebook all day. Yep. But without question, top 5 worst versions of all time. Jean Paul's version of the Batman outfit. Yeah, what an amalgam of terribleness.
That's bad.
Woo!
That's bad.
That was bad. That was great.
Go around the horn. Go around the horn. What's your least favorite or most hated costume change, Mike?
I was gonna say the Jean Paul Valley, the Asbats.
Look at this.
Now
we got beef with chat.
Now I gotta change it up. Now, don't I? Shit. Who do I hate? I hate. Yeah, I don't know. I do hate that the Asbat suits suck so bad. You know what I didn't like? I didn't like the God damn the armored. Remember the Web of Spider-Man, the silver and black armor. Oof. Hated that too. That's
pretty bad.
Looking like some kind of tinfoil quilted version of Spider-Man. Yeah,
he was Crazy Quilt.
Yeah.
And it was awful. It looked like crap. Those armored suits for it just immediately threw Daredevil's I hurt my bones, so I need this terrible costume change. Just awful. Just awful.
Oof. What about you, Christian? Those suits, though, Charlie, they are thunder and lightning proof. So that's probably why they wear them, especially around the Thunder stealing Charlie Boy. What about you, Christian? What's one of your hated changes? And again, I
guess this is a change in the grand sense, but really it's more of an adaptation, and it's probably going to be an opinion most people are not going to agree with. I don't like the look that they picked for Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I think a lot of people will disagree with me on that because it gives them a more realistic approach.
Terrible costume. The Leather Daddy costume, I'm going to tease you with a briefcase costume that you want to see me wear, but I won't wear it. And also there's a CGI samurai. Which disappointing supersuit
a lot to
makes
choose
you
from.
the sickest?
All the above.
Fair.
Like,
Good call.
because for me, the X-Men costumes are just so iconic. I was one of the kids that grew up on the X-Men animated series. So, like, for them to kind of
Perfect costumes.
For them to kind of just allude to that on the constant just to get those fans tickets in the doors, but not give them what they want in terms of the costuming and stuff like that. Like, even like Wolverine's comic book costume deserves to be adapted onto the big screen.
100%.
And the fact that we haven't got it yet, which is why I'm hoping to God Deadpool 3 is what gives us it. But
that's the venue, honestly. And even if they want to kind of pussy out a little bit and give you just like the brown and black
I'll take that
Bengals uniform version, I would absolutely stand up and applaud. But also, as well as, look, when you have a Wolverine that's like 6'13", you better at least give me a costume that looks like my guy.
Can I change my answer? I just thought it's
always
one of my favorite characters, and I mentioned him before, Wonder Man. Do you remember when they gave him the sleeveless T-shirt?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was not my favorite.
Didn't even wait till the summertime.
I know.
Just running around, goose pimpled up all day long.
I should hate it, but Superboy's costume with the leather jacket and the little red gloves. I love that costume. I love terrible costumes.
He's got no taste whatsoever, son.
See, so Ellis just made a comment where he disagreed because he thinks it's impossible to take seriously. I think that if it really does depend on who does it, but I think that that's not an impossible task.
No, I've seen cosplayers do it very well.
You know who this is a really deep cut for those who don't watch it, but one of my favorite online web series is Epic Rap Battles of History.
Yes,
I love that. I love those guys. But they did a Wolverine versus Freddy Krueger battle, but the costume is dope. It is highly comic book accurate because the guy Lloyd who does the Epic Rap Battles is actually a short guy, so he does like the full on like comic book accurate outfit.
Amazing.
And it looks badass.
Outstanding.
Amazing.
And I'd love to see the Incredible Hulk 181 costume where he looks more feline than anything else. That mask is really badass. That was really cool. And I mean,
that's an interesting pull.
Yeah, and this is where they thought that maybe the claws were part of the costume itself,
Right.
it was part of the gloves. And so, all right, well, now we found out that it hurts every time, and it's not part of the fucking gloves.
No wonder he's such a grumpy bitch all the time. He's like
Of
ripping his
course he
hands apart
is.
every time he's got to use them.
Fuck him. That's what he gets. Stop sniffing around Cyclops' lady.
Yeah, seriously.
Ellis.
Mind your goddamn business.
And wasn't he was like a fucking pedo when it was Mark Miller's Ultimate X-Men, right? He was going after Grange. She was like 15.
Goddamn creep, that Wolverine. I'm on record saying it. Ellis, there is a canonical explanation for the goofy mask. If you're gonna have a proper comic book Wolverine, he needs that hairstyling, baby. It's like a hair mitt. You're not gonna redo your Wolverine hair every time. You need the mask to help.
I always thought of them as kind of like the way cats' whiskers. They're like prehensile almost. They, it's kind of lets them know what's going on around the old domus. The one costume that really bothered the hell out of me, and never mind my disdain over anything clone in the 4-color funny books, but fucking Ben Reilly's Flash Dance little half sweatshirt.
I love that costume.
Oh my god!
I love that
Of course
costume.
you do. It is so bad. There are not even words for it. He's a maniac. It's terrible. It's as if someone got sent home and then forgot. Oh shit! I have to design this clone character, and they just saw the editor walking through the hallways like, oh shit! I gotta put something real quick. It's so bad. Oh, but the spiders on the diagonal. Yeah, you're fired. Get out.
No,
John
was like, I love it. Let's get it on paper.
Oh, terrible. Just terrible.
Man.
I just love it so much.
The truth of the matter is, like, look, we're just all marks. No matter what, we're gonna buy them, we're gonna read them, and more importantly, we're gonna talk about them.
I do have a question for the panel. Then, it's still with costumes in mind. What do you think is an underrated costume? And I'm gonna single out
that's a good question.
2 for one answer, and disagree with me or not, because I know clearly we got some deep Superman fans in here. But
Marks.
I don't mind Henry Cavill's suit. I actually don't think it's that bad.
Have you ever seen the color corrected one? The one that was like actually used on set?
No.
It's beautiful. It's like 3 shades lighter. It's more of a royal blue than a navy. The red is more vibrant. It's not as vibrant as the comic book, but it's closer. I think that's a great suit. I love the idea of it's like alien material, so it has that texture. It can get away with it. I think the idealized version of the Cavill suit might be on Supergirl in The Flash. That texture seems taken down like 20%. The colors seem more vibrant by like 70% compared to what Snyder put on film. I don't dislike it. I also am a sucker for
End of
sentence. I'm a sucker. Period. I'm a sucker for Power Girl's costume. I know it gets like made fun of because it has the boob hole, but at this point it's so iconic. It's so striking, and frankly, if you could pull it off, fucking God bless.
And
God bless. If I had legs like that, I'd be the same
conservative. So you gotta understand. Like, look, people's cultures are what they are. I'm going to, and maybe, no offense, Charlie, and certainly I know, Christian, you won't take offense. Maybe only Mike will get this pull. The fucking Black Terror's look.
Hell yeah.
In the same way that the Raiders are almost undeniably the best NFL fucking uniform to ever roll out onto the field, the Black Terror, he's an older character. He's been around literally forever, to the point
he's
where
a public domain. Yeah.
He's a public domain guy.
Let me hold on. Let me put on my comics college hat on. All right.
Do it,
so
do it.
Actually, that was Mr. Bones' costume.
Oh, it is so good.
Oh, wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mike, is that the first iteration?
Whoa.
And even that is more of a modern kind of depiction of it. Because it's as if he's still rocking the trunks over, like he's still kind of got that Superman strongman look where it's trunks over leggings. But is that the first time that we saw kind of an inner cape color different than the outer cape color?
Trying to think. You might be right, because Batman and Superman had you know what? I think that Green Lantern, the Golden Age Green Lantern,
the purple, the Scott Allen,
purple and red.
Okay.
So I think it was purple on the outside, and although I could be mistaken.
Close. It's definitely close, and also, as well as, with all due respect to that OG Green Lantern, who's wearing like very little green except for his jewelry. The color scheme on Black Terror is just, oh man.
That's perfect. Red, black, and white.
Fucking hell. A little bit of gold just to set you off from the other pimps at the party. Oof. It's dynamite.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Gotta love it. Guys, I cannot stress enough what an absolute pleasure and a delight it was to have you join us tonight. We did go a little bit long, but when you have the 2/3 of the incredible Stash crew, it is impossible not to go thick and meaty with the boys. Guys, I hope you had half as good of a time as we did.
Thick and meaty?
I will absolutely be bothering you guys time and time again.
Sus alert.
You know, I'd rather you guys know now because it's the end of the show.
I need an adult.
But I hope you guys come back. Obviously, anytime
sure.
we're in Jersey, we stop by the Stash. We stop by Smodcastle Cinemas. We are going to be in Jersey again for Clerks Up All Night.
I'm already in Jersey.
It is, well, the good part of Jersey. It is sold out, but hopefully at bare minimum, you gentlemen will let us buy you dinner before the event. Have a good old
buy
team.
Me dinner, buy me breakfast, goddammit.
Done.
Jesus.
Done and done. Gentlemen, I absolutely adore you. John, thank you for doing all the heavy lifting again, even though you scared the hell out of me with the beginning of the show thinking I was not on air. But John, there's only one way that we end each and every episode of US Comics, and that, of course, is once again plugging Jan Silent Bob's Secret Stash. Hit him with the address. Who got the address?
Broad Street, lovely 65 Broad Street in downtown Red Bank, New Jersey, 07701. We're right next to Smoothie King. Hey, how about that, kids? Right next to Smoothie King.
Smoothie Kings.
How could you go wrong? You can order plenty of stuff online. You can have them mail you all sorts of 4-color funnies. It, though, is the Mecca. If you can make it to Jan Silent Bob's Secret Stash, do it. Bring a full bag of money and just hand it over and let the team there guide your financial futures with the glorious comic book action. Christian, he makes music, he runs soundboards, he's a director, he's a filmmaker, he's a writer. These two gentlemen are glorious. The true superpower of Live from the Secret Stash, is of course the glorious Julia Zabzik, not with us today, so that means we gotta do the show again
Don't forget to look for Sarah also. Artiste, YouTuber. Sarah's dope too. Don't forget.
Sarah's great.
The whole damn crew, they're all welcome. We got to do this
very proud of
dynamic team up down the pike. But there is only one way that we end each and every episode of US Comics. And John, I'm going to need you to give the physicality for those watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. But ladies and gentlemen, the first thing you got to do is turn the power on. Then you gotta turn that volume up. Then you gotta tune Bad Marion. Open up the window wide and scream out into the night sky. See, Miss Space Girl. We out.
On time.